quickly, just start off, just looking back before we look forwards. Good, how good to get that first win under your belt.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been a long time coming, obviously, in the season. Also missing round two, it sort of makes that little bit longer. But all the more sweeter, to be honest with you. It's a tough place to go, up to Hull away. It's a long day for us, a long travel, and a few key players out, and two pulling out on the day as well in Tom Mamone and Lockie Lamb were very difficult to handle. But I thought the players, the whole squad, handled that really well and very professional. It just reminded me that we do have a good group there that are working really hard for each other. So just grateful that we're off the mark.
Well, it's interesting kind of say that you were reminded of how great a group that you have here. I mean, not that obviously you ever kind of doubted that, but it was the manner, I guess, of it, wasn't it, as well, sort of the way that you sort of demolished Hull.
Yeah, they asked me on Sky what was the best part of the game for me. Was it the 50 points or the 4 points against? And I was split between both, really, because we've been working really hard with our attack with so many players out, but our defence too, only 4 points against is a real credit to the team. But as I mentioned about being reminded, I see it every day there that we've got a quality group of men here, and I know that it's going to take 10 weeks plus. I've said 6 weeks, 8 weeks, whatever it is, whatever it takes. It's going to. I'm patient and happy to wait that out because I know it takes time to blood in these new players and combinations and things like that. But when I look around at the way that we train, I'm grateful that we've got a good bunch of boys here that are working hard and they will understand our situation. So, I thought that it might get worse before it gets better, but luckily we got the job done up there, albeit against the Hull side. I think that are probably struggling a little bit themselves with injuries and suspensions at the first part of the season. But, we've just got to play what's in front of us at the moment, and that just got to continue.
And what's coming up ahead of you this Saturday, Featherstone? I guess a chance to, build a little bit of momentum, possibly.
Yeah.
Would you rather have the start a cup campaign now, or would you rather sort of carry on in the league?
Yeah, no, I agree with you. Good word, momentum and confidence and trust. I think that's all key words for this week moving forward. I think. We've played some good rugby in the first 3 matches, albeit being beaten by the opposition team, but there's been times like the Hull game where the 40 minutes was absolutely outstanding. So just saw 80 minutes of that last week, and I think we're in a really good place in the sense of we're getting it as a group. We're getting more reps together as players, new to the club, players that hadn't played at the end of last year through injury. So all of that, more time that we play together, the better. So, we do have a home tie here against Featherstone, who, are a quality side on their day. They've got great players there, and they've been a dominant team in championship for a long time, and we know more better than anyone really. 2 years ago, I think we had 4 battles with them that came down to the last 10-15 minutes of each game. So we respect them and we understand what they're going to bring here. They've got nothing to lose. They're a champion side playing away, and but for us it's about making sure that we maintain our standards and keep driving each other to get better each week. And I'm seeing that on the training pitch, and I'm seeing that in the personnel as well. So we're heading in the right direction.
Defending champions, of course. Did you enjoy that added pressure that comes to it, or just ignore it?
I enjoy you saying that, defending champions. You don't hear that too often, really. So it gave me some goosebumps, and we've done a little bit of a review on last year already to set up this week, and how important it was to us to bring that cup back here after 50 years, and how important it was for our fans, and just that day, that moment, that night, that when the field goal sailed through the post last year on the 12th of August, will forever have etched in our memories. Father-son moment, club, great moment for our fans, and everyone involved was something that we want more of. So having said that, we want to defend this in the best way we can. It starts this Saturday at home, and no better place to bring everyone together here. Hopefully it's a packed crowd, and it's the first step towards the 2024 Challenge Cup, and we've got to make sure that we defend it in the best way we possibly can.
And just finally from me, mate, are there any people we can expect back on Saturday?
Lockie Lamb should be available for the game. Again, we'll give him most of this week. He ran today, which was a positive sign for us. So whether or not doctor feels that it's risky on Saturday. If it is, we won't risk it. But if it's more than 70-80%, I think he'll play. So, but that's where we're at the moment. I thought the players, the squad of 21 that went up to Hull did a great job for us. So I know the challenge will be to match that again. So the focus is going to be a lot about us this week and not so much Featherstone. It's good to get back on winning ways in Super League, but it's a new competition, this Challenge Cup, and it's going to be a real tough ding-dong battle as it's always been between Featherstone and us, and we're looking forward to it.
Well, good luck then with the start of your defence.
Thanks, Alex.
Hi, Adrian. Hope you're well.
Hey, Drew. All good, you?
All good here. Just want to ask you about Tom Moore. How is he looking at the minute? I think last week you said he was waiting on some more results and scans.
Yeah, we've got the results back after the game. Funny enough, on Monday, and it looks like that Tom's broken a bone in the top of his foot. So Tom's going to be out for 8 weeks plus. So. It's not good news. Another one on the list there, but he's pretty devastated about it because it's just in a position where it's difficult to address. So, we've got to power on and get on with things. I thought, like I said, when Dan Norman stepped up last week in the front row, he did a really good job. Oliver Holmes coming into the bench did an incredible job and made the Super League team of the week. And Ben McNamara stood in for Lockie Lamb there, and he did a great job as well. So I'm going to be relying on those players again to step up and do a good job at home as well. Well, we haven't had a victory this year yet, so that's something that we're searching for.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate for Tom and his injury, of course, but with that, like you say, last week with the Lockie Lamb injury, it gives an opportunity to someone else, and a player who took his opportunity last week was Ben McNamara. Yep. Just reflecting on his performance, he really impressed on debut, didn't he?
Yeah, well, I've made this quite public, but I coached Ben with my youngest son Bailey at the Cleverley Crocodiles in Sydney for 3 years. So I know what Ben's all about, and I was a big fan of Ben's back then, and that's why we brought him to the club here, to cover that 7, 6 and 9 position. So, moving forward, I think it was a great opportunity, and he took it with both open arms and played really, really well. Scored a try on debut, so I think he earned a lot of respect from the players here. They already respected him and had his back. They were very supportive of him during the week. But it's great that we have a reserve grade side now here to be able to play these players and get them playing a style that we want to play and that I can watch every other week. So again, our reserve grade players team play this week against Salford, I believe, on Saturday around the same time. So those players keep getting the reps week in, week out, and we do have a couple of niggly injuries to a couple of other players, and we'll have them covered by players that probably haven't played yet. So we'll make a decision on captains on as we get closer to the game. But there are some 50-50 doubts with a few of the other boys as well. But I've got all the confidence in the world that whoever we bring in can do a job for us.
Yeah, someone who did play for the reserves in them first couple of weeks was Oliver Holmes. He came back in last week as well, and he certainly impressed and probably gave you a bit of a selection headache moving forwards.
Yeah, Ollie Holmes. I know what we get from Ollie. He's missed a lot of the pre-season with a knee operation, so he was sort of behind the starting pack that we chose, and he's worked his way back into contention there, and coming off the bench, I think he came on with about 25 minutes into the game and played the whole second half there. So, he finished 10 minutes in the second row and ended up making the Super League team of the week in the second row. I don't know how that works, but it's just great reward from him, for him to the impact that he brought to the team. And, he's certainly put his best foot forward and will hold one of those spots down. But, players like that, I guess, that are, waiting each week to make that team and putting pressure on the current 17 is exactly what we need here at the club.
Yeah, just a last one from me. A question on Matt Moylan as well. Yeah. I remember speaking to you pre-season, and you was pretty much saying that give him a handful of games before he starts reaching his best, and he produced his best performance in a leopard shirt today in round 5 at Hull.
Yeah, and he needed to as well. You know, he's had a bit of a slow start to the season, and without Lockie Lamb being there, he needed to step up. And I thought he did an amazing job. And you know, I know some of the press have been into him saying he's not been playing the best games, but I know firsthand that it takes up to 10 weeks to be ready for Super League in this competition. But we brought him here because we understand the talent that he is and the leadership that he brings, and we've got to be patient with making sure that we back him until he finds his feet here, you know, and there was some really good signs from him on the weekend against Hull, and he's only going to get better. You know, his running game's going to come into play soon as well. His combinations that he's hardly had a chance to build yet with Lachlan and Edwin and John Asiata and Gaz O'Brien at fullback there. That takes time as well. So, you know, I'm confident that he's happy now, Matty. I know he's found his feet and moving forward, and looking forward to him carving up Super League over the next couple of weeks.
Top man, Adrian. I'll pass you on. Thanks for that. All the best this weekend.
Thanks, mate.
Hi, Adrian. How you doing?
Hey, Callum. You okay?
Yeah, good. Thank you. We spoke about some other players having niggles. Who are they?
Yeah, there's a couple there. Like Mulhern has got all sort of soft tissue stuff. Mulhern, Ricky Latelli, and Gaz O'Brien have got some lower soft tissue stuff. So we've just got to make sure that they get through this training week. You know, we've been making sure that we cover all areas with players and reps with other players with potentially coming in. So, you know, I think most of those boys will be right. Gaz O'Brien's probably the one that's in the most doubt, but you know he's a big chance of playing as well. So we've just got to manage this week right and make sure we get to game day with a full squad.
And how impressed were you with Robbie Mullen being captain for the first time at the weekend?
Yeah, scored his first try this year as well, Robbie. And if you ask Robbie, he'll say that he's the best captain here. He's at 100% win success rate. So, no, I thought he led by example last week. You know, without Lockie Lamb there and John Asiata and some of the other big hitters. You know, it's with the leadership group. I thought he did an amazing job. You know, when he stepped up, and he certainly led the way. So, we're hopeful that he'll be fit to play this week. He's probably at 90%. So, yeah, looking forward to him again leading out the team this weekend.
John Asiata's appeal was supposed to be heard on Tuesday. How come that's been deferred for next week?
Yeah, Derek's away at the moment, so we've just asked for that option, and that's been given. So it's one of those ones where John's out for a long period of time. So it's more about making sure we defend what we think is right with that action, and so we're just got to be patient for that to come around.